Hey there, Masterminds! Today, we're tackling the rising anxiety among Generation Z. Headlines call them the anxious generation. We often blame social media, climate change, or economics, but what if there's a deeper, fundamental shift causing this? Stick around, because it's not just screen time or eco-dread. This goes to the very structure of society. The usual suspects, a quick look. Yes, social media plays a huge role. Constant comparison, curated perfection, and FOMO create an exhausting popularity contest. It erodes self-esteem. Studies confirm links to loneliness and anxiety. Yes, climate change is an existential threat. Gen Z grew up with environmental news feeling a terrifying sense of impending doom. This eco-anxiety is a heavy burden, often feeling powerless. Economic uncertainty also looms large. Home ownership and stable jobs feel distant. Gen Z sees millennials' struggles with debt and stagnant wages, fearing a similar fate. Financial anxiety is pervasive. Hard work no longer guarantees security. Global instability, pandemic shadows, and information overload from every corner don't help. It's a barrage of crises. But if these were the only drivers, why aren't older generations experiencing the same unprecedented mental health struggles? Something deeper is at play. The answer lies in shifts in human connection, autonomy, and the perception of progress. These are woven into Gen Z's daily life, creating unique psychological vulnerabilities. The erosion of third places. Third places are informal community hubs, cafes, youth clubs, parks. Historically, they fostered organic social learning and low-stakes connections. You'd casually interact, building social skills without pressure. For Gen Z, these vital spaces have eroded. Economic pressures close local businesses, replaced by impersonal chains or online interactions. Urban planning favors cars over walkable communities. This means fewer spontaneous encounters, fewer chances to practice real-world social skills like initiating conversation or handling conflict. This leads to social isolation and loneliness, even online. Screen-filtered interactions lack non-verbal cues and genuine presence, leaving Gen Z disconnected and lacking practical social fluency. The void creates unease and social anxiety. The rise of hyperparenting and structured childhoods. Gen Z's childhoods were often meticulously structured and supervised. Organized sports, tutoring, packed schedules. Free play became rare. Every hour was accounted for, optimized for future success. While well-intentioned, this hyperparenting limited independent problem-solving and risk-taking. Kids had less exposure to unstructured social interactions where they'd learn resilience through trial and error without adult intervention. They had fewer chances to truly fail and rebound. When every failure is cushioned and every decision guided, adult challenges become overwhelming. This leads to lower discomfort tolerance and heightened vulnerability. Anxiety stems from perceived lack of agency and underdeveloped coping mechanisms. This fosters a profound fear of failure and inadequacy. The paradox of infinite choice and information overload. We live in an age of unprecedented choice, thousands of streaming options, millions of tutorials, endless career paths. On the surface, empowering. For Gen Z, a double-edged sword. This paradox of choice is paralyzing. Too many options increase pressure to make the perfect choice. Every decision feels high stakes, fueled by the fear of missing out on a better option, FOBO. This leads to decision fatigue and constant fear of making the wrong move. Coupled with this is relentless information overload. Gen Z has known nothing but the internet's constant deluge of news, crises, and opinions. The brain isn't wired to process such unfiltered, often negative, data. It creates perpetual hypervigilance, a feeling something terrible is always happening, fueling doom scrolling. This chronic state of alert is inherently anxiety-inducing, eroding peace of mind. The gig economy and the precarity of work. The traditional career path, secure job, benefits, retirement, is fading. Gen Z enters a workforce dominated by the gig economy, short-term contracts, and intense competition. This lack of stability creates profound, deep-seated anxiety. Less job security, unpredictable income, few clear advancement paths. Job for life is alien. Young people must constantly adapt, hustle, and self-promote, fearing replacement by automation or disruption. The pressure to always be on the grind is immense, lacking a safety net. This precarity erodes identity and purpose from work. Constantly shifting work means it's harder to build professional identity or connection to labor. This contributes to feeling adrift, lacking a secure foundation in an uncertain world. Anxiety stems from eroded future stability. Performance culture and the burden of authenticity. Gen Z grew up with personal branding as a requirement. Pressure to present a curated, aspirational self permeates social media, academics, and job applications. You must be good at everything and prove it online. This creates a relentless performance culture. Every achievement is scrutinized by an invisible audience. Adding to this is the demand for authenticity. Be yourself, but only the pleasing, likable parts. This creates cognitive dissonance. How to be truly authentic when constantly performing, fearing cancellation or not measuring up. This fear and constant self-monitoring is an exhausting source of anxiety, stifling genuine self-expression and fostering inadequacy. The decline of traditional community institutions. Declining participation in traditional religious and in-person community groups is a clear trend. These institutions historically provided ready-made communities, intergenerational social networks, moral frameworks, clear values, reducing decision fatigue, rituals and routines, stability, shared belonging, communal support for grieving and celebration, volunteering, avenues for contribution and agency. While online communities offer connection, the decline of tangible community anchors leaves a gap. Many feel adrift, lacking purpose beyond transient online connections. The search for meaning becomes an isolating, anxiety-provoking journey without inherited frameworks, contributing to existential anxiety. The brain on constant stimulation. A new baseline? Gen Z grew up with unprecedented constant digital stimulation, notifications, endless feeds, short-form videos. Our brains are wired for novelty and reward, creating an addictive feedback loop that trains attention spans to seek the next dopamine hit. This constant connectivity means less time for quiet contemplation or deep focus. Boredom is crucial for creativity and emotional processing. When the brain is always on, always reacting to external stimuli, it has less opportunity for internal processing, hindering emotional regulation and self-comfort. This persistent low-level arousal, the always-on brain, is a recipe for chronic anxiety. It's harder to relax, sleep, or just be without external input. The world becomes a demanding performance stage, blurring lines between work, play, and rest. This contributes to burnout and unease. The mind never truly recharges. It's a new baseline for brain activity, often stressful. What does this mean for Gen Z and beyond? The anxiety Gen Z experiences is a complex tapestry, erosion of third places for genuine connection. Hyperparenting and structured childhoods, limiting autonomy, paradox of infinite choice and information overload. Precarity of work in the gig economy, relentless performance culture, and burden of authenticity. Decline of traditional community institutions, brains constantly wired for digital stimulation. Gen Z isn't broken. They're resilient, aware, and technologically fluent, but they navigate a uniquely challenging landscape. Their anxieties are often a rational response to an overwhelming systemic reality. Understanding these hidden pressures is crucial for creating a supportive environment and thriving. Conclusion and a way forward. The anxious generation label is a symptom of deep societal, technological, and cultural shifts. Addressing it requires more than just individual coping. What can be done? Reevaluate urban spaces for third places. Rethink education to foster autonomy and resilience. Encourage offline connections and digital disengagement. advocate for economic stability, give permission to simply be without constant performance or digital demands. The mental health conversation needs to include systemic change. By understanding these hidden currents, we can build a future where belonging, stability, connection, and peace are prioritized. This is about the world we build for everyone. What are your thoughts on these hidden reasons? Have you noticed these shifts? Do they resonate with your experience? Share in the comments below. If valuable, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching.